Previously on Libel the Bible.
New York City's roadways have become a dystopian hellscape.
Maybe it's because all of our elected representatives are in Israel for some reason.
At the behest of Joab, an unnamed woman shapes history.
God will not take away a life. Takes the top spot on the most ridiculous things uttered in the Bible.
Your field guy says to my field guy, I'm gonna set your field on fire.
The beautiful Absalom returns from exile.
David runs and hides.
I'm sure we'll eventually find out why a statue of this dude was created.
And now, episode 88 of Libel the Bible. Off and running, Scott.
Like right now?
Right now, I'm recording.
Oof. How long have you been here? And we're just now recording, man.
I got here, 7:15. It's 8:43. So an hour and a half. It's been an adventure.
Yeah. So, I want to thank you. So I moved my car so Rusty could park and find out my car's leaking oil, man. And I don't mean like a drip of oil. Like the shit is leaking out of my car, man.
Yeah. So he started hosing down the driveway. Then he poured detergent on it and scrubbed it. Nothing's really working. So then that got him all flummoxed.
I'm flummoxed, man.
He's flummoxed over weekend plans.
Man, I was going to take that car places this weekend, man.
Yeah.
We're going into Labor Day weekend here.
I know. I hear you.
I hear you. Man, now I'm taking it to the shop.
Yeah, so then we didn't have a previously on.
Definitely didn't.
And he was feverishly writing the previously on before we went on air. And that took it seemed like it took a long time. It probably took maybe 15 minutes more than it should have.
Yo, and I think 12 of those minutes were caused by you, and you're distracting me, man.
Well, yes, I was definitely
out
telling Scott funny stories. And
sorry,
that's right.
They were funny though. They were some of the funniest.
Right. You know what,
They were
Scott?
some of the funniest stories you've told in a while. It's a shame nobody heard them.
Yeah. Well, you heard them, Scott. They were for you.
All right.
Listen, there's the things that we do together on air. That's between us and the audience. But there's things that you and I do off the air. That's just between us, all right?
Yeah.
So let's not
all right.
pretend.
All right.
Okay, so that was just between us. Those funnies.
Yo, man, I got fucking oil all over the place, man. It sucks. And we both and it's a new car. You can't even fix it. Yo, I popped that hood. I looked down at the engine, and I closed the hood. What the fuck am I going to do?
Yeah, it's funny because maybe even back in the, we don't know anything about cars, by the way. We know nothing about cars. Back in the day, at least you can open a hood and you could tell this is the carburetor, this is the battery, this is the starter, this is radiator, whatever. Now everything's enclosed in a shell and you need a tool to open everything up. Now you can't
I'm assuming the amount of oil that's coming out, if I went under the car, I was right out of that fucking huge hole under my car. What the hell caused that? I'm going to tell you this now. It's a leased car. Mm-hmm. I'm just over the halfway point. It's a 3-year lease. Mm-hmm. And I know if I roll this thing into Nissan tomorrow and they fix it lickety-split or whatever, give me a rental car, a loaner car for the weekend, if they do everything right, I will never recommend that car based off this incident.
Yeah. You want to say what kind of car it is?
Nissan Rogue Sport, 2021.
Nissan Rogue Sport.
Yeah.
Has it been enjoyable owning it up to this point?
I don't want to talk shit. I mean, she's right there. She's in earshot, man. I don't want her hearing me, talking shit about her. But it's been, the most disappointing car I've ever... I shouldn't say that. Power-wise, engine-wise, it's really sluggish. Other than that, everything else is fine. Yeah. It's a little smaller than I thought it would be.
When you say she's within earshot, you mean the car itself?
Yeah.
Okay, I was confused for a second. I was stuck on, whoa, what is he talking about? And then I realized he's talking about the car as if it's a mystical being that you better not piss off.
Not mystical, just a being.
All right.
What are you, mystical? It's a car, man. Right. You ever name your car?
Well, somebody named a car that I had.
Your car was named by several people.
Yeah, it was the Cruster Buster.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the most popular one, the Cruster Buster. Yes, but that car had like a lot of personality, you know.
Certainly did. Just because you're the person driving it as a personality doesn't mean the car has personality.
Nah, that car was fucking. Cars on the road made way for that car.
Yo, that thing was a hoopty.
It looked like the car at the end of Animal House when they fucking like shaved down that car to make it like into a tank kind of, and they just started like ramming it into shit.
How big was that car?
It was big. It was a 1977 Buick Electra, but it was the sporty two-door model. I don't know. It was like 20 feet long. It was like a big fucking car.
Those doors were huge. I remember like them doors were huge to get in out of the car. It's like that NORAD door in war games.
And when you fucking entered, like you were like in the side of a mountain. Yeah. Like it was like a bunker.
Yeah. You got some NORAD doors on your car. Yeah. All right. So enough of that, man. I'm gonna figure out my plan for the weekend. I'll figure it out. I'm not gonna let this dampen it.
All right. That's good.
All right.
Anything in the news, Scotty boy? In the news?
Couple things. Mitch McConnell.
Yeah.
Did you see the second?
I did see the second episode.
Dude, I got to tell you.
I got to say, you say freak out, I say episode, because I have empathy.
I was going to say.
Nah, fuck that guy, man. Yo, fuck that guy. I have zero empathy for him because he's a cynical actor. He acted cynically about the country, so I'm going to act cynically about his health.
Fair enough. But I'm saying, I felt bad. Like, dude, man, you're someone's father. Right? Maybe he has kids. I don't know. You're someone's family member, man. Like, you're embarrassing yourself.
He has little crocodile, reptilian fucking children running around somewhere.
He laid some eggs, sat on them for a while. So yeah, dude, man, what are you doing, man? You're embarrassing yourself and your family. Stop it. And that's not political. That bitch Dianne Feinstein can get out of her wheelchair and out of Congress too.
I told you though, like giving up power is very, very difficult. When you've known power your whole adult life, and he is at the top of the game, like he's a kingmaker. Nah, I don't mean he's at the
top of his game. Huh?
You know what I mean? Like he's at the peak of like his he could not have gone any further than he did. He was the leader of the majority of the United States Senate. He shaped fucking laws. He shaped fucking judges that are sitting on fucking courts deciding like fucking business policy, deciding social policy. All those judges, that was him ramming through judges. That was him upholding fucking Merrick Garland when fucking Scalia died and Obama fucking appointed fucking or nominated him. You know what I mean?
He made up that weird rule, like in the last year of a president's, like, you know, like what?
Yeah, no. So he's like, so I have no fucking empathy for him whatsoever. Fuck that guy.
All right, fair enough. Fuck him. Yo, it was creepy to watch, man.
It was really fucking weird.
So if you haven't watched it, go watch Mitch McConnell.
And we should really have like a discourse in this country, but you're never going to get it in like mainstream media about like, is there an age where these people have to like leave their positions of power? And
you know what? And you can frame it in such a way that you're not being ageist. You're just like, no, it's time to make room for new people. You can only be there for so long. So we're not giving you term limits per se, but 80, you're out. Just to make room for new blood.
I mean, it's hard, right? It's
not because you're old and you can't handle the job. We don't want you there anymore. We want people to cycle through.
Right. I mean, there are like there is a minimum age for each branch of government. Like there is a minimum age if you want to be like in the what do you call a House of Representatives. Mm-hmm. There's a minimum age to be a senator, and there's a minimum age to be a fucking president. So why not a maximum age? If there's a minimum age, it's there for a reason. The minimum age.
Sure. We've decided as a society that your brain and your experiences haven't matured to the point where you should be leading people. It's a reasonable thing.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know. Or we have to like remove something from their reptilian brains that makes them like unable to relinquish power for like fucking the next generation. Like these fucking lizards are all dying and the planet is dying with them, but they don't care because they're going to be out.
Yeah.
But like my child and his children, like what's going to be there?
We'll never ever meet each other, man. You're on different planets. Yeah. Time to move on.
So yeah, fuck Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, fuck him. Fuck him in the ear. Fuck him in the other ear. Yeah, what do you got, man? You got anything you want to talk about?
I did have something I wanted to talk about, Scott. So
Tell me, Rusty.
briefly before we went on air, I told you about a book I was reading called When We Cease to Understand the World. Mm-hmm. And basically what the book is about, it explores like certain periods of time, and it focuses on an individual that made like an amazing fucking scientific discovery, like the singularity.
I'm going to ask you: is this a actual people that made actual discoveries? It's like documentaries on them, or is it like a made up like?
So
it's
a fictionalized account of those people, you know, based on like factual circumstances. So the guy that fucking discovered like the singularity.
Which was a Jeopardy question last night, by the way.
What was the question?
The answer was singularity.
Oh, the answer was singularity. What was the fucking... No, the answer was not singularity.
Oh, the question. Right, it's got to be in the
The
form of a question, right?
was the singularity.
Yes, correct. Man, Jeopardy fucks with your head, man. Yo, it's the answer they had to give.
So you don't remember what the question was
I don't even
or
know.
the answer?
Not now, no.
All right. Who was the host? Jennings?
Yes.
Okay. Do you like him more than Mayim Bialik?
I don't really care.
You don't
either
care.
way, no.
Doesn't matter to you.
No.
Do you watch Jeopardy?
I do watch Jeopardy. If I happen to be in front of it. Like, I don't go out of my way to watch it.
Right.
But if
I
it's 7
understand.
o'clock,
if it's
I'll
on,
watch
right,
it,
you'll watch it. All right. So anyway, so this book like follows these scientists, and it like, you know, it's like it's a short book. It's about 200 pages. So it's like 50 pages. It's 4 parts, and it's 50 pages per part about like the guy that discovered like the singularity. Like shortly after Einstein had began publishing like fucking his theories on relativity in like journals before like he published like the big one. And he was like fighting on the Eastern Front during World War I while he was making these fucking formulations. And then he sent it to Einstein.
Was he in the trenches when he did this? Like
he was, yes.
Yeah.
He was on the Eastern Front, yes.
Wow.
So, but that's not the point. So the point is that the book explores what these discoveries did to these people and how they started like by sort of like, you know, Icarus, like the mythological god who tried to like fly to the sun.
Yeah, he wasn't a god.
Like,
He was a guy.
It was a guy?
Yeah.
He wasn't like the son of like a god?
I don't think so. I think he was...
Nah, come on. The gods bang like every fucking broad. Like almost
Listen,
everybody walking
you know,
around
I
was like
guess,
half
yes.
a fucking god.
Yeah,
Come
all right,
on.
maybe. These demi something
Zeus
percent.
was like pretending he was a fucking, you know, big dick donkey, fucking...
Yeah, you could do that.
Zeus?
Yeah.
Zeus was like the fucking god of the gods, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the book...
What kind of women did he get with that wanted him to be a donkey?
It was Greece, man. Anything went.
Right.
Have you heard about what they did in the army? No, you don't know?
No.
Well, Billy, have you ever been in a Turkish bath before?
Yeah, all right. So he discovers the singularity and what? What happens to
So
him?
he starts going mad because he starts like thinking about the fact if this thing exists in science where once you cross a certain boundary, there is no escape, right? And you don't know
Like
where
marriage.
that boundary is.
Like marriage.
Is it possible for humanity to fucking be on that same path, you know, forming like this singularity where we're marching towards like a fucking future and like we've already crossed that boundary? And that's not the point. He started going mad thinking about that particular thing. Now, I think it's a ridiculous thing to think about because a singularity is physical. It's a physical thing, whereas human fucking history is shaped by the psyche, and the psyche has nothing to do with like the laws of fucking physics.
Oh, I thought he was saying when he said we're marching towards a singularity, like everything is in motion where we are going to become part of a singularity. Like,
No.
that's our end game.
We start marching towards a singular like goal. So it's sort of like alluding to like Nazi Germany. So this is his thoughts in like 1915, and the author is making it seem like, You know, he's implying that like this is what like he's thinking, like a singular like vision, fascism, you know, like working towards like the fucking power of the state. And so if something like that could exist in space and physics, can it also exist in humanity? But that's not my point. My point
I'm glad you explained that, because I totally misinterpreted it, like misheard you or misunderstood.
So my point is that it's more about how he went mad because of this discovery that he made. You know, the reason he went mad is interesting, but that's outside of like my point. So the book follows these periods and these men, unfortunately they're men, you know, and I'm just saying, like, it's not a cool representation, you know, like I'm sure the author could have like included women, but he didn't.
Wait, have women ever discovered anything like really profound in history?
I mean, Madame Curie discovered like radiation.
We're just gonna run her name like till the end of time, huh?
I mean, that's pretty big, right? So it explores the philosophical question of, is it possible to attain the type of knowledge that will drive you fucking mad if you have it? Like, do you believe that that's a possible thing, that you can find something about the universe or physics or existence now that would like fucking drive you mad?
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure it happens all the time. I mean, it's the very definition of some mental illnesses, right? Like, you just get caught on a thought and you can obsess over it and you can't stop thinking about it. So
Sure.
Absolutely that could happen, man.
But would it happen to you?
Probably.
You think it could happen to you?
Dude, man. All right, so for those of you who don't know, I'm pretty open about it. Not that open. I was in therapy for a long time, and a lot of it was that. It was about obsessing over, like, constantly running the same thought and permutations on that thought over and over and over again.
Right.
So, and I'm just wondering if I left the iron plugged in, man. This guy's, like, contemplating, like, universal fucking shit, man. Like, existential shit, man.
Right.
So, yeah, it can absolutely happen. You don't think it would happen to you, man?
I don't know if I have enough imagination to be able to extrapolate the things that they extrapolate from math. So, like, these are mathematicians who have fucking this, like, made, like, these formulas, and based on these formulas, they are able to extrapolate what computer simulations and quantum computers are only now starting to prove. They were already envisioning this in their heads. So in other words, when he came up with the singularity, Einstein understood what that meant. Like, in his head, he saw a singularity in fucking space-time and like what that must have been like. And he was like, this is fucking ridiculous. God doesn't fucking like roll the dice or whatever. That was more about like quantum entanglement, but whatever. In any event, like, I don't have that kind of imagination that it would drive me crazy. Like, I'd be like, oh, wow, man, heavy dude.
Yeah, your box is really small, man. You ain't got a lot of room in there, man.
Yeah, it's true.
All four guys in the book were mathematicians?
I'm through like the third guy, and they were two guys were mathematicians, and one guy was more like a chemist, mathematician. But yes, primarily they're all mathematicians.
No, none of them were like a cool Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park, like chaos theory guys.
No, they're all like mousy Jewish guys.
Oh, so Bradley Cooper would play him with like a huge prosthetic nose.
When they make the movie about this, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So, it also brings up the question of the technology that we're discovering and the things that we're discovering, and like the things that we're going to learn about from the James Webb telescope over the next 15 years. We've already learned like so much, but as they start like working on fusion, you know, like to scale, like right now fusion is in its infancy. Like, we've done it and we've recreated it, so we can do it now. Now it's about like bringing it to scale.
Yeah.
And so over the next 10 to 15 years, they're going to start doing that. So the question becomes that this book also brings up is, are we ready for that? Like, just because someone has thought of these things and someone was smart enough to figure it out, are we as like people, like as 7 billion people on the planet, are we ready to accept these discoveries made by people greater and smarter than we are?
Yeah. Well, it begs like the old saying, right? Could we do something as opposed to should we do something? Should we do something just because we could? And I'm looking forward to a day of cold fusion, man, reactors. But it's never going to happen, man.
Why?
In 10 years, you're going to be like, I know I read an article about cold fusion being successful.
It'll be like the electric car.
Yeah, fucking the petroleum guy's like, oh, that's what was that? Like a Mandela Effect.
Yeah. The Mandela Effect?
You know, when people as a society believe like they saw something, but then it never really existed. Like who's the big basketball player? Shaq.
Yeah,
was like in a movie named Shazam, and he wasn't.
No,
like
I
that,
know like the things about the Mandela Effect.
Oh, yeah, until you never heard the term. That's what.
Yeah, no, I know the Mandela Effect. It's like believing you exist like in an alternate fucking universe where things are like slightly fucking different.
No, man, it's just like this societal thing where we all think something is like spelled a certain way, and then it's been revealed like, no, like you just think you saw something or knew something that we didn't really exist, man.
Well, that's you rationalizing it, but the Mandela Effect
means
that people believe that there was like a rip in like space-time or whatever, and like we are like we got shifted into like an alternate like realm where
dope.
things are just like slightly off.
Oh,
so like everything's the same, but just like slightly off. Like
Berenstain
Bears were the Bernstein Bears, you know, like.
So you're saying like some Man in the High Castle shit, right? Like
sort of like that,
yes.
But not that drastic, because Man in the High Castle drastically altered history.
Maybe for the better. What? We're going to get right back to the show, but before we do, we'd like to invite you to come visit our Patreon.
Each week, we discuss a new topic at the intersection of society and religion.
We explore the encroachment of religion onto secular institutions, such as schools, workplaces, and government.
In addition, we'll investigate whether religion practices what it preaches.
So, after this episode, head on over to patreon.com/Libel to Bible and join in the conversation.
And now, back to the show. That's some fucked up shit, man.
And I was worried about words I was using in the previously on.
I gotta say though, I'm glad you made that joke, and I'll tell you why. As a Jewish,
it was a joke.
As a Jewish person, I'm gonna give you a pass, and I'll tell you why. I'm gonna give you a pass.
Can you give me a card that I can actually whip that out? Like when someone on the street comes to me about this?
I'm giving you a pass because it absolves me of almost everything I've said in the 87 episodes leading up to this, because that one was like the fucking Tsar bomb. All right?
Yeah. So I did that to reset the playing field for you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Scott.
Let's set the table again.
You're always looking out.
Yeah, of course, man.
After 88 episodes, you finally unmasked yourself.
Yo, man, trips to HR didn't work. Threats of being fired didn't work. So just let it go, man.
Damn.
Yeah. What else, man? You want to get into the Bible, man?
Yeah, I guess we can get to the Bible.
Look at David, man. So when we last left off, David was in the mountains, and Absalom was triumphantly walking through the city entrance. If there's a city entrance per se,
you think like his chest was pumped out, and like his chin was like up in the air, and like his thumbs were like under his like fucking lapels.
Oh yeah, his thumbs stunk by the end of that day, man.
Toes up, strutting in on his heels.
Yo, who was the guy that danced like much hard? Like danced like remember that guy? Who was that? Was that David?
No. It was Jonathan? It wasn't Jonathan? Like dancing for his father?
He was
like, look, Dad, look if he's shaking my ass. Don't kill my lover.
He danced.
I'm not gay.
I'm in love with Katie Holmes. I'm in love with Katie Holmes. Yeah. So I don't know how he came in, man. Oh shit, broke my mic.
All right. So we're on 2 Samuel 16, and it's titled David's Adversaries. Now, Scott, let me ask you a question.
I'm here for questioning.
When you wrote the previously on,
right,
you were very concerned about who read previously on the last time so that you can alternate it,
Yeah,
right?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, reading. Do you do the same thing with reading? Are you as careful?
I never even thought about it. Not
Do you
once.
think it's less important?
No, the reading of the
So
Bible
is this
more...
something that you are going to start like obsessing over now that I've mentioned it and pointed it out to you?
Yo, man, was
like,
that your
is
plan?
that a form
was that
of
like
torture?
Did you just put me in a beaker and fucking experiment with me just now? You just like, let me fuck with him and see if this is what happens?
All right, so this
But
is
no,
titled...
But to answer your question, no, I didn't think about it. And no, I don't think I'm going to think about it. But do you want to like at least talk about it like at the next staff meeting? Maybe just... I mean, just to, maybe we need some like structure to our show.
Why don't you do this? When you're listening...
All the best shows have structure, no?
When you listen back, just replay this part over and over until you've made up your mind.
I see what you're doing here, man.
What are you doing over there?
Just checking my phone, make sure it was silent.
Interesting. And you had to look at it? I guess you did have to look at it.
Man, it didn't matter, man. I totally got just lost staring into the phone, man. Like I was just like, oh, it's weird. What if I swipe this way?
Yeah. So, David's adversaries. Yeah. Would you like to start off our reading today, Scott?
It doesn't matter, man. I'm not feeling it either way, man.
Are you sure?
I am.
You're not feeling it?
I said I'm not feeling it either way.
Oh, okay. You're not feeling either way. You're neutral on who reads.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll start.
All right.
See?
Yeah, you go first.
I'm going to take a sip of water first.
Yeah, that's what the audience wants to listen to.
Nah, you know what? I'm not going to take a sip of water first.
Wet your whistle, man.
No,
Okay.
Because I did that once, and while I was reading, like, there were a lot of, like those kinds of mouth noises. So for the audience, this is the kind of humanitarian that they don't get to see often. They don't see the man behind the mic. You know, the kind, compassionate.
He exists.
Rusty.
Somewhere. It's a Mandela Effect universe.
The philanthropist.
The philanthropist. What are you giving away?
So I suffer for the audience. I won't have a sip of water. I will read this passage parched.
Like you're in a desert for 40 years. Eating manna.
You think like our audience in Kenya's like, why that motherfucker? You know, because they're like, they don't have access to clean water. And meanwhile, like I'm shitting into clean water,
that fucking meme,
and then just flushing it away.
Yeah, I'm thinking
like that's how much I don't care about clean water.
I'm thinking the people that are worried about clean water aren't really listening to our podcast. I'm hoping they're not. You know, I hope they get to the station in life where they can eventually be listening to our podcast. But,
all right, fair enough.
And you know what? Why doesn't philanthropist Rusty try and make that happen?
We have listeners in Kenya, so that means the listeners in Kenya that we have are the people responsible for the fact that the other Kenyans don't have clean water.
Whoa. No, that's pushing it. That's what is that? That's a causation that
God
you can't...
forbid we lose two fucking people in Kenya.
But lose them for the right reasons, not because you'll be smirching like their whole like style of life. Because
I'm just taking your conclusion to its logical end.
No, don't do that, man. don't ever logic out anything that comes out of my mouth.
All right. David's adversaries. Parched. When David had passed a little beyond the summit, Ziba, the servant of Mephibosheth, met him with a couple of donkeys saddled, carrying 200 loaves of bread, 100 bunches of raisins, 100 of summer fruits, and 1 skin of wine. The king said to Ziba, "Why have you brought these?" Ziba answered, "The donkeys are for the king's household to ride. The bread and summer fruit are for the young men to eat, and the wine is for those to drink who faint in the wilderness." The king said, "And where's your master's son?" Ziba said to the king, "He remains in Jerusalem, for he said, 'Today the house of Israel will give me back my grandfather's kingdom.'" Then the king said to Ziba, "All that belonged to Mephibosheth is now yours." Ziba said, "I do obeisance. Let me find favor in your sight, my lord the king." Why would he end it like that? Why would he say, I do obeisance, let me find favor in your sight, my lord the king? It seems like he has found favor in his and he doesn't need to do the obeisance.
You know, but listen how erratic David is. So David just passed over the summit. Like, this dude just climbed over a fucking mountain to get away from Absalom. Right? And all of a sudden, dude shows up with donkeys, 200 loaves of bread, bunch of raisins, some fruit that grows in the summer, and one skin of wine. The king's like, why the fuck you bring this shit here? I don't know, because you're climbing a fucking mountain. Maybe you're hungry. Maybe you're thirsty. You should just knock the loaves right off the donkey's back onto the ground. Like, fuck you and your bread. Go fuck your mother. I'm out of here. Yeah. See, I'm not liking David, man.
All right. In fairness, though, he's probably a little flummoxed, he's been chased out of his kingdom. He's fucking exhausted from climbing up this mountain. He's not the youngest of men anymore. He didn't have his bearings about him. Lack of oxygen to the brain. He was saying stupid shit.
Two more possibilities are also he wanted to act like he didn't need that stuff. Like he was just badass. Like, what do I need for this stuff? Right. Then you see he's behind the tree,
Right, hiding it in his cloak.
Why is there only 199 loaves of bread now? He comes out with crumbs on his fucking...
Motherfucker's got a Milky Way bar.
Or the other possibility is David really didn't know why that stuff was there. He's dumb. Why are there donkeys? Why did you bring donkeys with food and wine? Maybe he's just an idiot, man.
Who are all these people walking behind me?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, listen, you always find fault with, these particular people. That's all right.
I gave multiple possibilities.
Shimei curses David.
Shimei.
When King David came to Bahurim, a man of the family of the house of Saul came out, whose name was Shimei, son of Gera. He came out cursing.
Motherfucker.
He threw stones at David and at all the servants of King David. He's like that reporter that threw the shoe at George Bush.
Right.
Now all the people and all the warriors were on his right and on his left. Shimei shouted while he cursed, "Out! Out! Murderer! Scoundrel! The Lord has avenged on all of you the blood of the house of Saul, in whose place you have reigned, and the Lord has given the kingdom into the hand of your son Absalom. See, disaster has overtaken you, for you are a man of blood."
All right, man. Do you believe in the old days, not the ways, you bring fists to a fist fight, you bring knives to a knife fight, you bring guns to a gun fight. If you know your history, the last thing you should do to David is throw a fucking stone at him. This dude killed Goliath with a sling stone.
That's a great point.
That's a bad fucking choice, man.
Yeah. Maybe that was the reason for the choice. It was yo, man, remember when you were young and pure and fucking challenged Goliath without even being asked because he besmirched the people of Israel? And now look at you, you fucking piece of shit.
Now I'm tossing rocks at you because
right.
It's like when Rocky's carrying the buckets of spit in Rocky 2.
Let he who is without sin cast the first, stone.
Yeah.
Right.
So David probably drops something. He's like, whoops. And he's like, you can't say anything a little tougher to say than whoops. Rocky 2 again, man.
The what?
What I find strange is, let's say this took place 6,000 years ago. I still feel like
why would it take place 6,000 years ago?
When did it take place?
It took place 3,500 years ago.
All right, so I find it strange that 3,500 years, an Israelite military type thing is going through the street somewhere and people are throwing stones at it. 3,500 years, there's going to be people throwing stones at fucking tanks in the streets of Israel.
Oh.
Nothing's changed, man.
Nothing, man. You know what? I think that you might be the first person to have ever made that observation. You might want to write it down, write a book, something, sell that shit.
Well, I'm selling this right here, man. I'm not, this is how much of a philanthropist I am. I'm not even selling it, man. This is for all the people, man. The stuff after the show you got to buy. You gotta, when you exit through the gift shop, that's different. But this is free. This is for everybody.
All right. Fair enough.
More than fair, I think.
I think so. Definitely more fair than fucking this guy's being to David. He doesn't know how hard it is being the king and making decisions.
Yeah, but what specifically is this guy's beef now? Like,
Yeah, he thinks Absalom is the rightful fucking king now.
Right.
He's like basically saying, David, you're a fucking murderer and a scoundrel, and you got what you deserved. He's like Joe the plumber,
yeah.
who died, by the way, this week.
No way.
Yeah, but fucking
Like a
in a
big,
way,
huge
like
Venus
I would.
flytrap?
What?
Like a big fetus flytrap.
That's fucked up. That's a Mario reference. Nah, he died of like fucking. What do you call it? What's that terrible cancer that you get? Like
Pancreatic?
yes, yeah, like when I say like, what's that terrible cancer? You knew immediately.
Yeah.
Like that's like you don't wish that on anybody.
Well, peace
Even
to
though
Joe.
he was a fucking idiot,
Peace to Joe the plumber, man.
Yeah. Well, peace what? He's dead. Peace.
And peace to his family, the people
All
that
right,
remain,
there you
man.
go. There you go.
You know what it means, man.
I hear you. So if one of you knows Joe the plumber's like wife or whatever, like let her listen to this episode. It'll cheer her up. She'll hear like our tribute to Joe the plumber.
Yeah. Do you think like the other plumber's already scheming on her?
You think it's like all the only people they associated with were plumbers? It's like the mob. Like you're not allowed to have outside friends.
It's like anytime you watch like a firefighter show.
Right.
Like there's like they have a rule like you don't fuck around with like a widow's, the widows.
But they all do that.
Right, that's the funny part.
Right, that's the show. Like the whole show is them doing that.
Yeah, so.
And then feeling guilty about it, and then being caught, and then some other guy does it, and then he feels guilty. But it's like your friend just did it.
Yeah, sucks. I would much rather have seen him go by like getting run over by a big barrel. Like that's the way he should have gone. So
Thrown by like a giant ape.
Of course, yeah. By that woman on the boardwalk, Lady Kong. The joke I made weeks ago. That doesn't matter.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah. So some of the old timers on the show are like, yeah, I remember that too.
Did you say Lady Kong back then?
She said lady. Yeah. I said that she said it.
I don't remember that
That's
part
fine.
then.
That's fine.
I know it's fine. You don't have to reassure me. I don't feel guilty
Rusty,
over
all right.
it.
Rusty, it's not your fault.
All right. You want to pick it up at verse 9?
Verse 9. Then Abishai, son of Zeruiah, said to the king, why should this dead dog curse my lord the king?
Ooh.
Let me go over and take off his head.
Yo, you hear what this motherfucker just said to you?
Knock
You're
his
going to
block
take
off.
that shit?
But the king said, wait, which king are we talking about right now?
David.
All right.
There's only one king in this like setting.
All right. Yeah, sometimes they jump around.
That's right. See?
But the king said, what have I to do with you, you sons of Zeruiah? Is that like sons of a bitch back then? If he is cursing because the Lord has said to him, curse David, who then shall say, why have you done so? David said to Abishai and to all his servants, my own son seeks my life. How much more now may this Benjaminite... How much more now may this Benjaminite with an exclamation...
My own son seeks my life.
How much more?
How much more now may this Benjaminite?
Okay.
So my son already wants to kill me. How much more do you think this guy wants to
I
kill
gotcha.
me than my son wants to kill me? I guarantee you my son wants to kill me more than this guy.
So I'm like, why is there an exclamation point right in the middle of the sentence? That was all totally on me. It's definitely a next sentence. That's what fucked me up. I thought there was an exclamation mark in the middle of the sentence.
No, it's a
No, there isn't,
it's a
man.
semicolon. The exclamation is at the end of the sentence.
No, I know that. I'm talking about. Don't worry about it, man. Let me move on, man.
All right,
I
let's
just read it
move on.
wrong. I got all confused.
All right, so
Let him alone and let him curse, for the Lord has bidden him. It may be that the Lord will look on my distress, and the Lord will repay me with good for this cursing of me today. You got bigger problems, David. So David and his men went on the road, while Shammai went along on the hillside opposite him, and cursed as he went, throwing stones and flinging dust at him. The king and all the people who were with him arrived weary at the Jordan, and there he refreshed himself.
Yo, he's doing everything for the wrong reason. He's a fucking dickhead. He's like
Stone thrower or David?
David.
Okay.
He's like, he's taking what the stone thrower is giving, because he's like, this will be repayment to like Yahweh for like all the bullshit that I've done. So like once like this happens, like I'll be in his favor again.
Yeah, and it's almost like he's saying God sent this guy to punish me.
Yeah.
So like this is God's punishment,
Right.
and like
so I
it's
gotta
like-
take it,
It's
and
not
then,
like
and then we'll be cool.
yeah, it's like it's not God's like not going to look down and notice that he's in distress. He caused the distress. Like this
Right.
is yeah. I hope David's right for David's sake.
I don't think so.
But yo, this guy, how long did this guy walk? Like somebody had to say, yo, David, he throws one more fucking stone, I'm gonna beat the fuck out of him. And David was like, no. I'm not touching you.
Shame.
I'm not touching you. Yeah, shame.
Shame.
The council.
Shame.
The council of Ahithophel.
Ahithophel.
I got it.
Ahithophel.
Now Absalom and all the Israelites came to Jerusalem. Ahithophel was with him. When Hushai the Archite, who are the Archites now? Is that new?
I don't. Yeah, no. Wow, we heard Archite already because when you said Archite, I thought Archon.
Yeah.
So I remember this name.
Good game, man.
Yeah.
Now don't forget Return of the Archons, original series Star Trek episode. When Hushai the Archite, David's friend, came to Absalom, Hushai said to Absalom, "Long live the king! Long live the king!" Absalom said to Hushai, "Is this your loyalty to your friend? Why did you not go with your friend?" Hushai said to Absalom, "No, but the one whom the Lord and this people and all the Israelites have chosen, his I will be, and with him I will remain. Moreover, whom should I serve? Should it not be his son? Just as I have served your father, so I will serve you." All right. So Absalom's grabbing Hushai and going, I thought you were real cool with my dad, and now you're flipping real quick here.
Yeah.
And then he was like, well, I served the legal ruler and whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Why would Yahweh want Absalom to be the king? Because he's a real piece of shit. He's the guy that raped his sister.
Yeah. And set Joab's field on fire. Based off a misunderstanding, we believe. Talking about a hothead. I don't know. Then Absalom said, were all questions answered?
I'm just saying, like, he's punishing, he wants to punish David. Yahweh wants to punish David. So he makes, like, his disgraced son king, and now his disgraced son wants to kill David. But what Yahweh does is he's really punishing the people because now they have like a piece of shit fucking king.
Do you think Absalom, well, like getting to launch his campaign, like got in front of everybody, was like, yo, I can rape my own sister in the middle of the street and not lose a vote?
That's what your sisters let them do when you're famous.
Yeah. You just move on them like a bitch.
Yeah.
Do anything.
They do anything.
Then Absalom said to Ahithophel, "Give us your counsel. What shall we do?" What? Absalom, first day in office, doesn't even know what to do? Ahithophel said to Absalom, "Go into your father's concubines, the ones he has left to look after the house, and all Israel will hear that you have made yourself odious to your father, and the hands of all who are with you will be strengthened."
I'm sorry. So his advice on his first day in office is to go and have intercourse with his dad's concubines. How many, like, concubines?
I think he left at least 4.
So
for some reason, I know there was at least 4.
So what's the plan here? Like, this guy that's giving him fucking counsel, right? He wants him, like, out of the way for a day so he can, like, do some shit.
I don't know. Maybe he's giving him legit counsel, like, you know, the way to win over the people is to impregnate them or something. I don't know. Like, you'll turn those housekeepers onto your side.
All right. They're not housekeepers, man. They're like slave women. They're concubines. They're kept like women.
There might have been a translation error in there. They might have just been,
They were happily married, I'm sure.
I believe when they were forced to work in his house, they learned valuable skills that would, bettered them later in life when they were finally not, like, forced to work there.
Right.
So they pitched a tent for Absalom under the roof.
Ew, gross.
I thought Absalom was pitching a tent. And Absalom went into his father's concubines in the sight of all Israel. Holy shit, he really did do it in the middle of the street. Now in those days, those savage days. Now in those days, the counsel that Ahithophel gave
I'm sorry. So they didn't do it in the street. They did it on a roof.
Yeah, that's right.
They did it like the Beatles concert. You know, like the Beatles concert on the roof where they're like fucking played that famous last concert?
See, the only time I think about rooftop is when, like, U2 did that for a video, right?
Well, U2 did that because of the Beatles. That was like an homage to the Beatles.
That's one way.
Do you know about the Beatles fucking
I've heard of
rooftop?
them. No, I don't really know about the incident. No.
It's like, okay. So it's like one of the most famous like scenes in rock history. They're on top of a roof of the recording studio, Abbey Road, and they hadn't played a concert in like fucking years, and this was the last performance that they ever put on. They played like 4 or 5 songs. The police came. They had to break it up.
How cool would it be? Is like one day people just walking down like the streets of New York, and then there's us live recording the show.
That would be fucking super cool if people gave a fuck about that.
The crowds, man.
By a crowd of bums.
They probably slinging stones at us.
Waiting for us to come down to rob our shit.
So now this dude hit all the concubines in one night?
On the roof.
In one time. Like he just lined them up and...
Or maybe all at once. I don't know.
Do you think,
why not all at once? That seems like it would be more efficient. You seem to think like it's about impregnating them, but I think the point was if you just have them, it's like spitting on your dad's like legacy. Like so it's like a slap in his face.
You think he had a 5-some, not a 1 at a time, some times 5?
That's like my guess.
Yeah, but how intimate were these women?
A 5-some? Is that what it's called?
Well, it was 4 of them and him. 5-some.
No.
I mean, maybe there's a more technical word for it, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, in those days, the counsel that Ahithophel gave was as if one consulted the oracle of God. So all the counsel of Ahithophel was esteemed both by David and by Absalom.
I thought you're not allowed to do like oracles and seers and soothsayers and...
Well, listen, it's all in the wording. Lawyers wrote this. Ahithophel...
Because they're Jewish? Is that what you're saying? They must have been lawyers because like every Jew's a lawyer? Fucking Scott,
when they're
man.
not busy
Holy
being
fuck.
doctors and bankers. That's just humor. Those days, the counsel that Ahithophel gave was as if one consulted the oracle of God. So he's not an oracle, but his shit is so fucking accurate and so on point that it's as if. So why somebody should go like deranged oracle Ahithophel like they should start like putting like talking shit about him in the news, man. Like, what is he a seer? Ooh, is he really a wizard? Talk shit about him, man.
Spreading propaganda, man. Yeah, like
man.
a PR campaign against him, discredit him.
Yeah, I don't want to rewind and see how bad that came out at first. Fake news.
2 Samuel 17. Moreover, Ahithophel said to Absalom, "Let me choose 12,000 men, and I will set out and pursue David tonight."
I thought he was announcing a 12,000 some.
Absalom's like, "Yo, man, you gotta let me fucking have a glass of water first or something.
We're going for a record.
I'm gonna
here.
be shooting cartilage soon." All right. "Let me choose 12,000 men, and I will set out and pursue David tonight. I will come upon him while he is weary and discouraged, and throw him into a panic." That's a panic?
No, that's how you get him into a panic. Like you wake him up like that. You wait till he's all sleeping, man.
All right. Oh no, turkeys! All right. "I will come upon him while he is weary." Wait, I will come upon him while he is weary?
Yeah, it's questionable what they mean by that. Notice there's no footnote there, huh? No parentheses there.
"I will come upon him while he is weary." It's like, will you come already? It's like one of those situations.
Well, that's enough to put somebody in a panic. You wake somebody up like that?
All right. "I will come upon him while he is weary and discouraged, and throw him into a panic, and all the people who are with him will flee. I will strike down only the king, and I will bring all the people back to you as a bride comes home to her husband. You seek the life of only one man, and all the people will be at peace." The advice pleased Absalom and all the elders of Israel.
So the advice is, I'm going to sneak up on your dad, fucking kill him, and I'm going to take all his people back with me.
It's kind of like the Osama bin Laden mission, except like let's just fucking kill everybody in the house, except, like a few fucking kids, whatnot.
Now, if this guy came back and was like, "Yo, man, you killed David?" "Yeah." "Okay, how do I know that? Was the evidence?" And he goes, "To not piss other people off in the world, we're going to I buried him at sea. with no pictures, no confirmation.
Right.
And like, so you just got to take my word for
Right.
it.
Yeah, you know that guy that's been hidden like all this time, no one's seen? Yo, I totally killed him. Can we see him? We fucking, nah.
Yeah. I'm thinking the dude was they probably knew he was dead like 10 years ago, but they just wanted to keep, funding the Dick Cheney war machine.
Yeah. By the way, I'm just like being sarcastic. I don't think I think Osama bin Laden's dead. I think they totally fucking killed Osama bin Laden.
Agreed. But
I just want to point that out.
If you think about it, like if you were like
No, of course.
Like it's a little
it's
odd,
an easy thing to make like conspiracy theories up about.
Yeah.
Of course. Everything is if you really like start delving into it.
Yeah. And I don't like that this guy was like, I will strike down only the king. I will bring all the people back to you as a bride comes home to her husband. Mm-hmm. Like take it down a notch, guy. That's a weird analogy.
Well, because all his brides fucking tend to run away. He's got to like bring them back under his fucking watch. That's what he means. Like as brides come back to their husbands under his like fucking watch, under duress.
The council of Hushai. Then Absalom.
Wait, where
said,
are you? What's the verse number?
2 Samuel 17, verse 5.
Verse 5. All right. Oh yeah, I was there.
The council of Hushai. Then Absalom said, "Call Hushai the Archite also, and let us hear too what he has to say." All right, wisely getting a second opinion.
From the guy that likes Archon, no less.
Yeah.
They're like, that guy must be fucking intelligent.
He comes in all Phoenix-like, like a ball of fire. Can't get too close to him, man. When Hushai came to Absalom, Absalom said to him, "This is what Ahithophel has said. Shall we do as he advises? If not, you tell us." Then Hushai said to Absalom, "This time, the counsel that Ahithophel has given is not good." Hushai continued, "You know that your father and his men are warriors, and that they are enraged, like a bear robbed of her cubs in the field." Oh, not Joab's field. You'd see them coming because this shit is toast. "Besides, your father is expert in war. He will not spend the night with the troops. Even now he has hidden himself in one of the pits or in some other place. And when some of our troops fall at the first attack..."
What is he, like Viet Cong?
He's wiping the war paint on his face, the camo. Whoever hears it will say, "There has been a slaughter among the troops who follow Absalom. Then even the valiant warrior, whose heart is like the heart of a lion, will utterly melt with fear. For all Israel knows that your father is a warrior, and that those who are with him are valiant warriors. But my counsel is..." My screen scrolled. But my like magically, like I totally hit the thing and I got surprised that it scrolls. Oh, does this wheel on this fucking thing, dude? Then even the valiant warrior, whose heart is... I read that already.
11, verse 11.
Yeah. "But my counsel is that all Israel be gathered to you, from Dan to Beersheba, like the sand by the sea for multitude, and that you go to battle in person."
Or multitude?
What did I say?
I've never heard multitude.
Multitude.
Multitude. The multitude.
Oh, you're connecting my pronunciation, not the spelling of it.
I guess, yes.
So multitude?
I'm just saying I never heard like a soft like T, like multi.
Oh, now I'm soft.
Multitude.
Maltese.
Multitude. All right. My bad.
No, it's not your bad.
Listen, anytime I can stop and make fun of you, you know it's going to happen.
That's fine.
It's going to happen.
At least I hear your jokes. So we shall come upon him in whatever place he may be found, and we shall light on him as the dew falls on the ground, and he will not survive, nor will any of those with him. If he withdraws into a city, then all Israel will bring ropes to that city, and we shall drag it into the valley until not even a pebble is to be found there." Absalom and all the men of Israel said, "The counsel of Hushai the Archite is better than the counsel of Ahithophel. For the Lord had ordained to defeat the good counsel of Ahithophel, so that the Lord might bring ruin on Absalom."
So this guy's like, don't send like some special fucking forces, elite fucking unit. Gather up like all these fucking like warriors and like surround fucking David, and we'll just like fucking like bring him out and capture him.
Yeah, and I like the concept if like he's hiding in a city and you can't find him, throw some ropes around the city and drag the city like cartoon style.
Just have Samson take the fucking gates off.
You should have like a Samson symbol, like a signal in the sky, like Batman.
It would be a gate. The symbol would be a gate.
Yeah. Or just a post that hold. No, did he? He took the post that hold the gate, didn't he?
He took the whole fucking thing.
I think he took the whole fucking structure.
The whole thing.
Yeah, he don't fucking around.
In fairness, he was doing a lot of cocaine back then. You know, like he had some manic episodes.
And every woman he was sleeping with was like, "So how do we kill you?" Remember that? Like, what's the secret?
What's the code to your life insurance policy?
Hushai warns David to escape. Then Hushai said to the priests Zadok and Abiathar, "Thus and so did Ahithophel counsel Absalom and the elders of Israel, and thus and so I have counseled." So he's just telling the story that he I gave counsel to the king.
Herewith forth I have done my duties by counseling thy king.
It's probably not a good idea to give like bad advice to the king, right?
Not if it's the first advice. Like you want to come out like your first 100 days as king are the most important days as king. That's like when all your policies are being fucking thrown out there.
Therefore, send quickly and tell David, "Do not lodge tonight at the fords of the wilderness, but by all means cross over, lest the king and all the people who are with him be swallowed up." So he's getting the word out, man. I forgot he was a double agent, man. Well, he's not a double agent, right? He's a single agent.
He's an agent.
He's
right?
an agent.
He's a spy.
Jonathan and Ahimaaz were waiting at En Rogel. A female slave used to go and tell them, and they would go and tell King David, for they could not risk being seen entering the city. But it's nice that they would like recruit like the locals to give them some work.
I mean, it is King David. You would think like there's still loyalty to like the king, you know?
But a young man saw them and told Absalom. So both of them went away quickly and came to the house of a man at Bahurim.
You know how it is. There's always like 25% of the population that's like, oh, he's still king. You know, that was like a fake election.
Yeah,
like
not my king.
He's going to take office like, on this date, you know.
Yeah. And next week, all the evidence will become clear, man. Next week.
Yep. So they're like helping him, Next thing you know, they're going to be storming the fucking palace.
And he can always say, like, "Yeah, I just said next week. So next week." It's in perpetuity.
In perpetuity.
It's like, you go into a bar and it says free beer tomorrow on a sign, like very clever. So you go tomorrow where the sign says free beer tomorrow.
It's the same sign, yeah.
Same fucking sign, man.
Every time.
Man. And you hammered. You don't
Did you try the next day, though?
I haven't stopped going, man. Got no money. Don't remember half the fucking...
All right, where are you?
They quickly and came to the house of a man.
Where are you?
Verse 19.
Okay.
I started in the middle of a sentence. I'm right there, Russ. Can't you see it? Who had a well in his courtyard, and they went down into it. All right, so they're going to go hide out in the well. The man's wife took a covering, stretched it over the well's mouth, and spread out grain on it, and nothing was known of it. When Absalom's servants came to the woman at the house, they said, "Where are Ahimaaz and Jonathan?" The woman said to them, "They have crossed over the brook of water." And when they had searched and could not find them, they returned to Jerusalem. Okay. Now they're searching this woman's house for these people. Mm-hmm. How big is her house? See, now we got to break down the architecture of the homes in this era.
You know what? You're right. Because as you were reading it, you know how like when you're reading, you're creating the image in your mind? For some reason, I thought like she came out and like she had like laundry strung like across her line. And like the house was like on a hill, like overlooking like a prairie, like, in the 1800s, like plains. And then, like, when you said that, like, how big is her house? Like, it all crashed. Like, that whole scene, like, disappeared, and reality hit me.
Yeah, it's like, like the Three Little Pigs' house is stick in mud, right? Like,
if she's lucky.
Right? So there's probably not a lot of spaces to search, right?
Yeah.
This is the point I'm trying to make.
It's
There's not much to hide.
It's awful.
But now you got this well, which I'm assuming is like a well, like I would picture. It's got round stone, stones in a circle, and we lower the pot down to get the water, and she covered that.
A pot?
A bucket.
A bucket, all right.
Yeah, a pot would suck, right? But a handle, it just keep pouring out all the time. That'd be stupid using a pot.
All right.
So like, I guess he's not hiding here. There's no place else he could possibly hide. Not like this covered well, which would be the only place someone could hide. Literally the only place.
That's where they caught fucking Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
He was hiding like in one of those fucking wells.
You think they're like leaning on the well, like smoking cigarettes, going, all right, they're not here. What are we going to search next? Right? They're like just chilling out, and like they're in the well, like, shh,
well,
be quiet. Shh, they're going to hear us.
Remember that story from like early on? I forgot if it was Jacob or someone. He walked into the tent, and the woman like sat down on like the case or something.
On the blender, yeah. It was her blender. They were hiding the home goods.
The things he was looking for. Yeah, the home goods, right. And he was like, let me look in there. And she's like, oh, I can't get up. I'm on my period. And he was like, ew, gross. And like ran out of the tent.
You know what would be funny? They found these dudes. And the one guy says, ma'am, if you want to hide them, you should have sat on the well and pretended to be in your period.
Yep.
That's what you should have done.
Yep.
That's what should have happened.
Yep. Continuity.
After they had gone, the men came up out of the well and went and told King David. They said to David, go and cross the water quickly, for thus and so has Ahithophel counseled against you. So David and all the people who were with him set out and crossed the Jordan. By daybreak, not one was left who had not crossed the Jordan. Okay, so let me get this straight. Ahithophel gave Absalom the advice. Hushai came in and said it's bad advice because he's looking out for David. Like, it was a good plan. He could have snuck up there and probably killed him. He was going to bring like 20,000 men with him. So Hushai scuttled that plan to get word out to David. But he also said, bring all of Israel with you. So I'm wondering how that's going to play out, man.
Yes, so that, if it plays out, because he's crossed the Jordan, they're not expecting him to be across the Jordan, right? So it might have been a ploy where he's just like, go and get all Israel, so that like he's stalling for time so he can go and tell David. And now David has crossed the Jordan, but the significance of that is that they wandered in the desert for like 40 years, and finally when they crossed the Jordan, they were finally in the promised land. And now David, the greatest king, you know, is now fucking going back and crossing the Jordan. Now he's like out of Israel.
Nice. Do you think Absalom's going to bring the entire military out of Israel to get him, just like Hushai said, and David's just going to kind of circle around Israel and come in the same gate that David did, and just do this all over again? When Ahithophel saw that his counsel was not followed, he saddled his donkey and went off home to his own city. Took his ball and went home. He set his house in order and hanged himself. Oh, shit. He died and was buried in the tomb of his father. Yo. That's a damn shame, man.
That was rash.
Yeah, that was totally rash, man. Listen, people, man. Call that hotline if you're feeling like that, man.
I mean, that's what Anthony Bourdain did. He saw, like, photos of, like, his girlfriend with, like, another guy, and he was like, oh, I'm going to fucking hang myself because I'm a fucking depressive.
That's what it was? That's what triggered it?
Pretty much, yeah. Asia Argento. That's her name.
Oh, okay. Sounds like a porn name.
Then she got Me Too'd.
Nice. How did she get Me Too'd?
Like some 17-year-old boy, like, fucking in Hollywood. Like, they were, like, acting, and, like, she groomed him and took advantage of him when he was underage.
17. Who determines what the age is, man?
I hear you, man.
Then David came to Mahanaim, while Absalom crossed the Jordan with all the men of Israel. Now Absalom had... Do you think he went into Mahanaim? And like the people in Mahanaim like looked over his shoulder. It was like, yo, what the fuck? Who's following you, man? All of Israel's coming after you. Don't turn around, man. Now Absalom had set Amasa over the army in the place of Joab. Amasa was the son of a man named Ithra the Ishmaelite, who had married Abigail, daughter of Nahash, sister of Zeruiah, Joab's mother. Fuck off. The Israelites and Absalom encamped in the land of Gilead.
So what is this fucking passage?
They're just talking about who's running the army. He's just talking about who the commander of the army is, Amasa.
All right. So the Israelites and Absalom encamped in the land of Gilead. So they're like across the Jordan from David, right? Like they're not in
No.
They didn't cross the Jordan, correct?
I didn't mention they crossed it yet.
Okay.
When David came to Mahanaim, Shobi, son of Nahash, from Rabbah of the Ammonites, and Machir, son of Amiel, from Lodabar, and Barzillai, the Gileadite, from Rogelim. All right, so all these dudes brought beds, basins, earthen vessels, wheat, barley, meal, parched grain, beans, and lentils, honey and curd, sheep and cheese from the herd, for David and the people with him to eat. For they said, the troops are hungry and weary and thirsty in the wilderness. It would have been great if David looked at the table and just knocked it all on the floor. What do you bring this shit for?
I said lobster, motherfuckers. Bring me some bullshit curd.
Oh my God. So yeah, these Manaheimites don't know what they're getting into.
So remember, David was like in tight with the fucking like these Canaanite tribes. Remember, like he spent like a whole spell with like them as like their leader.
Yeah, I don't think you're in good enough to be bringing like the whole of Israel after you though. Like bring that trouble somewhere else, man.
Right. You think it's gonna happen? You think like the whole of Israel is gonna attack? And there's going to be another war. I don't think there's going to be another. There's been so much conflict in this region. It would be stupid to like start another one. Like they've already had like so many of these wars with the Philistines, the Canaanite. Like he's back. You know, I don't think there's anything is going to happen.
No. It's probably war has run its course now. Like through history now. Like it's over now.
Yeah.
Like, it's been plenty of war, man. Yeah. So this is where it ends, man.
I think so.
This is where the episode ends?
I think so.
Oh, all right. I'm in concurrence.
You don't want to like do a sign off. You didn't say anything witty. I don't even know if we introduced ourselves.
We did not
today,
introduce ourselves. Do you think there's like the hundreds of people listening right now? Like, who the fuck are these guys?
They're still waiting for it. They're like, am I listening? What is this live on the Bible?
Would it be funny if this wasn't live on the Bible? And they just wasted an hour and a half of their lives on some shit that wasn't live on the Bible?
What if it was just the Mandela Effect?
Oh shit.